It's not always easy being a Christian. It's not always easy. We're called to carry the cross. Jesus, when he was on the road to Calvary, on the road to Golgotha, said, he who would be my disciple needs to pick up their cross and follow me. Not many people are really eager to pick up a cross and bring repentance and suffering and misery upon themselves. It goes against human nature. People generally want to live by the flesh, not the spirit. And so whenever it comes to severe disciplines or discomfort, we repel from it because it's uncomfortable, and it goes against the currents of the world we live in. But the Bible does say, he who would live for the flesh will die. Well, he will live for the spirit will have peace, life and peace. So keep your eye on the spirit, not on the flesh. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Those are the words of Jesus Christ when he's on saying the Beatitudes. A couple of quotes of interpretations of all of this come from saints. According to Saint Colette, if there be a true way that leads to everlasting kingdom, it is most certainly that of suffering, patiently endured. Patiently endured. Saint Colette. Here's Saint Padre Pio, one of the most famous saints. The longer the trial to which God subjects you, the greater the goodness in comforting you during the time of trial and in the exultation after the combat. Saint Padre Pio. Saint Bernadette says, it is in loving the cross that one finds one's heart. For divine love cannot live without suffering. This may be the most sobering of all, because she says, in loving the cross. How many of us love the cross? It's not easy. It's not easy. The cross is not easy. But we can love things that are not easy. But it also says, divine love cannot live without suffering. So what are we doing when we are assuming that all is well and there's no suffering? According to Saint Bernadette, that could be a problem. For divine love cannot live without suffering. Are we repenting? Are we subjecting ourselves to the disciplines of the Spirit? And are we giving up our lives for others? Now, what does this look in the real world? What does it look like? What have real Christians actually suffered for Christ in this world? Well, in the year 1591, a priest named William Pattinson said a mass in England in a private home for some people there, and there was some spies gave him up. William Pattinson was thrown in prison. He was thrown in prison for saying a mass in a private home. So he didn't mind this. I mean, if you look in the Bible, I wasn't there. What I mean is when I say he didn't mind it, I mean he made the best of it, just as Paul did when he was thrown in prison. He made the best of it. He converted people in prison, and William Pattinson did that too. He converted six. He converted 6 prisoners, and this enraged the officials, who saw that he was converting other prisoners to the Catholic faith, and so they hung him. They had him hung, and then after they hung him, that wasn't enough. They had him drawn and quartered. So that's extremely graphic and horrible what they did to his, to the dead man. And that was William Pattinson picking up his cross and following Jesus in obedience. Going back to the 1st century, there was a Roman official named Flaccus. Now, Flaccus was evidently a proud and arrogant Roman, a powerful Roman official. He was a powerful official. And he proposed to Saint Petronilla, the lovely Saint Petronilla. And he was rejected. Now, to a proud man like, let's say, Flaccus, it was upset. It made him very angry to be rejected. And so he wasn't just going to accept rejection. So according to one account, she rejected him, and then he threw her in prison. Not in prison. He threw her in jail. But she fasted for 3 days and died. Now, there's no way a 3-day fast is going to kill anybody. So this story is either it's not quite, all the details aren't there, or something, because the only way she'd have died after a 3-day fast was perhaps a water fast. Now, if she was not drinking any liquids whatsoever, then maybe she could die after 3 days. Not a regular fast. So it's not entirely clear, but she did die. So the only other alternative is she's only fasting on food. Then maybe something else happened that is not told in this account that led to her death. But in any case, she died after 3 days in jail. Now, Saint Felicula was a virgin saint. She was the foster sister of Saint Petronilla, and after Saint Petronilla's martyrdom, Saint Felicula went on a fast in prison. They had thrown her in prison, and she went on a fast. And this because of this, she was thrown in the sewer. She was thrown in the sewer and left to die there. So that is the reward she got for fasting in prison. Perhaps it was another protest fast. I don't know what it was, but they threw her in the sewer and left her there. Now, Saint Nicomedes recovered her remains. That was a priest. He recovered her remains, and as a result of a reward for just trying to give this woman a decent burial, he was whipped to death. So that was what the reward that Saint Nicomedes got for doing the right thing. Now, Jesus said once again, "Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Because whatever those saints went through, it's been long gone and finished for hundreds and hundreds of years. And what they went through evidently was a few days. Certainly there are other people who are persecuted for years, but even then, I have someone in mind who was, kept in a communist prison, tortured relentlessly for unstopped for 13 years, and so but nevertheless, these people, their suffering is long gone. It's been gone for decades or hundreds of years, and yet they're now in heaven for all eternity. For theirs is the kingdom of heaven for all eternity. So, thanks for watching.